Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet Dale. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast with two queer trans women.
And it's on my shirt.
Yeah, we're wifey types, one of whom is wearing a Quips shirt today.
Yeah.
Which is a good shirt to be wearing because it's a great design, but also because it's very warm and you're wearing one that doesn't have sleeves.
Sleevant.
Which is important for this weather.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing today?
Whum. It's whum again. It stopped whumming quite so hard, and now it's back to whum.
It's done that thing where it's gone back up into the 30s in Celsius, which is like above where it's comfortable.
That's
like
too many Celsius.
low to mid 20s is lovely summer's day. 30s is, oh no, you're cooking me. Oh no, please stop that.
I'm melting, what a world.
And it seems like there's at least a few days of the very hots happening, so...
There are. I almost want to go back to Bridge Command just for the air conditioning.
Right?
Because they do have really good air conditioning.
Well, speaking of Bridge Command, what have we been playing this past week?
We went back to Bridge Command.
We went back to Bridge Command. We went back to Bridge Command.
Bridge Command, and while we were there, they took us into a second mission.
Yeah.
So we went on Saturday to try our hand at a exploration mission, a type we had not run before.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we'll go and run an exploration mission. We had a lovely time. It all went very well.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've come back with a hull above 0%.
Yeah, it was, what like
40-something?
Yeah, it was pretty good, that mission.
Yeah, and then, like, as we were sort of, like, just about finishing our drinks and considering beaming back to Earth, they were like, hey, guys.
Hey, there's two of you here, right? Two of you together here, right?
Would you be interested in running another mission? We've only got 4 on this mission. We'd rather not cancel it.
Yeah. And we were like, look, we're here and it's air conditioned on a hot day. We
are having fun.
We're having fun. We could go back to space.
We could go and help these 4 people out.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want them to be disappointed.
And that was definitely sweetened by like, hey, stick around half price. I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll help.
Yeah.
We did more space, yes.
We did more space. So I finally got to do running around engineering, the manual engineering role.
Yeah, because we were on a full crew of 14 in the morning, I believe.
Yes.
I went into this not wanting to be captain again. I was like, I've done captain twice, I feel like I've gotten the grip of it.
And I went in going, I might be radar, I might try and see if I can get helm.
Yeah.
And those roles got snapped up real quick.
Well, yeah, there were 2 things that happened. First of all was... captain is the one position where, and they say this during the opening briefing, captain is the one position we won't, like, pick someone out and tell them to do. You have to volunteer for it. Would anyone like to be captain or first officer? 14 people, most of whom are first-timers. No hands go up, and I'm like, waiting. No one's putting their hands up. Okay, I do know how to captain. I've been here before. Okay, I'll be captain.
And you captain real good.
I did. I got a little medal for captaining.
You did?
I got a general commendation for doing good captaining.
Yeah. That's how well you captained.
But yes, they did a, like, fastest hands up, what roles do you want to do? And you shyly put your hand up.
I'm sorry that I'm a shy hand putter-upper.
No, you are a polite hand putter-upper in a room where you needed to be a little bit rude.
Look, I live in the year 2025. I don't want to shoot my hand up at an angle at any point. So I tend to sort of like raise it to about shoulder height and then sort of hover around head.
Yeah. But the last couple of times you tried to be the running around engineer, you'd either not gotten it or accidentally ended up in the chair engineer.
Yeah.
So you did get to do the running around engineering.
I got to do the running around engineering. It was great. I felt like I was having like extra time for roleplay. I saluted the first officer every time they came back up from the shuttle missions.
It was.
I got to scan someone in the medical bay.
Yeah, you did. You got to be medical officer, which is one of the things you're going to be doing on the campaign.
I'm a doctor and a doorstop.
Yeah. It was a real fun mission, because that first one was the going out and doing a scientific investigation and scanning.
Yeah, we witnessed the birth of a star.
We did. We witnessed the birth of a star.
Yeah. Paul, was it?
Paul.
Peter?
Yes, it was the birth of a star, and it was someone's birthday, and therefore we named the star after them.
Yeah.
It was... We had a very fun character with us on that
We did.
mission.
We had Dr. Wilson.
Dr. Wilson was... Very fun.
Who very much enjoyed being medical scanned.
Yes, only had mild brain damage.
Only
from
mild brain
what had
damage.
gone on and was very excited about science.
Yeah, I kept mispronouncing the name of the ship.
It was really. This was a character that was real fun to yes and with.
Yes.
They would very excitedly and expectantly tell you a science thing that we discovered that made no sense to the crew, but we all sort of decided to gasp anytime she told us a science thing
And
be like,
occasionally applaud.
yeah, be like, oh, yes!
Yes,
Oh,
excellent.
oh, that's so exciting!
15% lithium, you say? That is
15%
incredible.
lithium! 15% lithium! That's unbelievable. And I think that energy was really infectious on that
Yes.
mission. We also had a first officer on the shuttle crew who was so... For considering no one had volunteered to be, like, captain or first officer initially...
Would have been an excellent captain.
Oh, yeah. Was very, like, I'm gonna roleplay the shit out of being in a command position. Every time he and his little group of 3 came back to the bridge, they were like, right, Captain, what are we doing? And was, like, saluting and, like, what's the chain of command orders? It was very charming. I think it really does add something when you have people who, like, really lean into it.
Oh, yeah. I was marching up and down those halls, changing fuses and stuff. It was,
Yeah.
it was good fun. It was very silly. Yeah, and then we went in with 4 people who we initially assumed were one family.
It was...
And it turned out it was 2 groups of 2.
It was 2 separate pairs of a parent and child.
Yes.
That were all first-timers and were all a little bit shy, a little bit nervous, a little bit... I'm not exactly sure what to expect this
But
to be.
they were all very excited to see the ship.
Yeah, and they definitely gave it their all.
They did.
I was... considering that they were all beginners and multiple of them were, like, double-dutying desks, I was very impressed at how well they did.
Yeah, I think they did great. It made sense that we had the person on weapons doing both beam weapons and missiles.
Yeah.
That worked really well. Our radar person really picked up quite quickly how to do those scans.
We learned some new stuff about
We learned
how
some new
the
facts
radar
about
scan
scans.
works, but yeah, they managed to do, like, the second difficulty level of scan that people have trouble with real quick, which is great.
They were doing real good with that. And then we had our comms officer who was doing very well with that. Our pilot barely hit any of the asteroids.
Yeah, did a great... And I will say, there was a complication with our mission. Some things were happening to deliberately fuck with our ability to control the ship as we normally would, and to play a mission how we normally would. So, like, these people hadn't really had a chance to get used to the default of the ship before the default was being fucked with.
Yes.
They adapted really well to, you know those rules we taught you about how this works? That's not working
That's not
right
working
now.
because we're being hacked.
You're gonna have to very quickly adapt to not the things you were taught. You're gonna have to learn on the fly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was surprising how efficiently we were able to run the Takanami on a crew of 6 with a little bit of help.
A little bit of help from
the NPC.
From our 2 NPCs, because our trainer helped us considerably longer than I would have usually expected, because usually you would return to the Warspite and drop them off.
Yeah.
But this, I don't know if it was part of the mission or just like specifically because there was only 6 of us, that they sort of hung around and kind of did a little bit of nav stuff for us.
We dropped them off somewhere. Canonically, that's why we didn't have a shuttle, despite, we didn't have a crew for it anyway.
But then another shuttle came aboard with an NPC who also I had to medical scan.
Yeah, and it worked out quite well. Also, I captained that as well, because again, none of these 4 beginners was confident enough to put their hands. I wanted to do other positions. I came in being like, I want to do comms, I want to do helm, I want to do engineering, I want to try these other things. I've got to do my duty as captain.
I was all levels of engineer on that one, so I was doing power management and all the running around.
Which was a fun pair of roles to be doing, considering that our power was being stolen from us at points.
Yeah, I was knackered, but I was very impressed that by the end of it, I had managed to recharge every single power core.
Yeah. I did have a really interesting conversation with someone since the weekend about captaining, because, like, I talked to someone who's done apparently 31 missions.
Wow.
They very, very into it, and they do a lot of captaining. And the way they put it was, they do other roles around the ship, but their view is, captaining is maybe the one position that you kind of have a responsibility to put your hand up for if you are good at it and no one else seems to want to do it. And, like, even if you want to do something else, not having a person who wants to be there in the...
captain.
Well, not even necessarily competence. Not having someone who wants to be in the captain's chair chair can really ruin the mood of a mission. And they're like, he's been on missions where, like, no one volunteers, someone sort of sheepishly volunteers but isn't really into it, and it can really sour a mission. And I was like, that makes sense. I hope I get opportunities to not captain, but having done it a couple of times now, I'm like, I have got the grip of it, and I do enjoy it, so if I go, like, 20 seconds and no one's volunteered, I'd be like, okay, I'll do it.
I do want to try radar, I do want to try con, I do want to try helm.
I did the maths the other day. The generalist patch for doing all 4 areas, I will be doing 3 of them on my campaign next week. Nav is one of the science stations. I'll be first officer, which is a command position. And I will be helm on the shuttle, which is a ops position alongside weapons.
So you just need weapons.
No, ops considers weapons. Engineering is the only one I won't have done. So I need to pick up an engineering mission, but I will have done 3 out of the 4 areas of command in one campaign, which will be nice.
Wowza.
But yeah, it was a very, very fun day.
Yeah, we had a great time. And again, we walked out, we were hit by an absolute wall of heat.
Yes.
Boy, London was humid that day.
Yes, every time I walk... I don't even notice it so much going in, it's walking out in an afternoon where I go, oh, we were really spared from the heat today. But yeah, it was very, very fun bridge commanding.
Had a great time. And then we spent a day playing some boarded games with friends.
Yes, we did.
We finally got back to Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated 2.
Yep, which once again took us about, like, 4+ hours to do.
Like 4.5, 5 hours to do a single mission.
Single mission. I enjoyed some of the new mechanics that were introduced in... This was what, the third game? The third game of it we've played. Gosh, it feels like we should be further into that campaign. There were some fun mechanics introduced without being too spoilery. There was one that involved players reading a thing secretly and not telling anyone else what it said.
Yep.
And other people had the opportunity to go do it without knowing what had been read. And that was a fun little wrinkle.
Yes.
There was a combat mechanic introduced that changed the way that we all sort of played deck building in the early rounds in an interesting way. Yes. Sort of changed our early game priorities, I think it's fair to say.
Yes, adding more formidable foes than just your regular comes out of the adventure road.
And more immediacy of reason to prepare for combat and, like, to get mercenaries and things, rather than going, I'll get around to it later in the pacing.
Yes, which does make for a very interesting first few rounds. Because usually, like, depending on, like, how many skill I draw in the first couple of hands, we'll decide how many mercenaries versus how many, mercenaries or longswords, because that deck is either or. Versus how many explorers I get. Because, I usually just go, what is the most amount I can get out of this? And 4 is quite a fair average number. If you get 5, probably it will be a mercenary / longsword and an explorer, because the explorers are 3 and the others are 2. So, and then, of course, it really depends on, like, if something really good happens to come out in the adventure row.
Yeah, I tend to be a get me some movement and buying power early person, but this really shifted my priorities towards mercenaries and longswords early.
Well, even so, we still needed to go, like, nearly 3 rounds before most of us had any fight. It was only the fact that someone had purchased something that basically immediately gave them some damage that allowed them to...
It was that and an external mechanic to one character that was exclusive to that mission. I'm curious with future missions, because as you say, we're going to have to buy combat cards and wait until the deck cycles at least once and hope we draw them quickly. Yeah. So I feel like it's going to be fairly unavoidable that something bad happens at least once.
The first thing is going to happen every time, I'm pretty sure.
That's an interesting twist that does feel like it sets this apart from the first Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it feels like a good mix of stuff from and Acquisitions incorporated the original and the like some of the Clank in space stuff. The schemes.
Yeah.
Schemes was a whole thing introduced in that.
It continues to be what if you played Clank while having a GM-less Dungeons and Dragons session.
Yes.
It's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, very much so. And it's been interesting, like, slowly leveling up our starting decks.
Yeah.
And, I'm curious to see where it all goes, but I'm very much enjoying it so far.
We also played some Spirit Island.
We did! We finally taught our friends to play Spirit Island.
Yeah, we've talked about this one before. It's the one where you play as, like, elemental gods, protecting an island from invading white people.
And we don't say that lightly. Literally, the minis are white plastic
It's little
people.
white plastic people. It's you're fighting. You're killing off the white people that are trying to invade.
Kill all the white people versus, help to maintain the safety of the little wooden huts.
Yeah.
For the people who natively live on this series of islands.
Indeed. So we played this with a group of friends that hadn't played it before, and we're
Yes,
a little.
they've owned it for a while and struggled with the initial learning because the manual's horrible.
It is my favourite example of a terrible manual. It's right up there with like Lord of the Rings Battle of Middle-earth.
War of the Ring.
War of the Ring, that's the one. War of the Ring has like a similarly, the manual is a fight to get through kind of manual.
But also I feel like the problems are very different between the two. Because the problem with Spirit Island is some things just aren't like written in an order that makes sense for you to understand. This thing happens, this thing causes that, this is how this interacts with that, as opposed to War of the Ring, which is written like just a like a legal document.
Yes, Spirit Island's problem is like it's not giving you context for why things are happening and why things are important through the natural structuring of the rulebook. It's just a lot of independently explained at you things with no connective tissue.
Yeah,
in
so
a way,
we taught this as here is the round structure.
Yep.
We are then going to talk you through individually each of your starting cards and the concept of the elements that you generate and how that interacts with your innate powers and any like other sort of default stuff for your particular character.
Yeah.
And then the upgrades by putting more presence on the board, the concept of spiritual sites, and what to look for when you're upgrading your deck with major and minor powers.
We had a good selection of gods at the table for, like, explaining game concepts. Yeah. We had the river and the ocean that have very clear goals, which is push stuff toward the sea and let the sea swallow.
Yes.
I played a very fear-heavy character that's a very different kind to play, but, like, was getting the idea of fear gets you towards other victory conditions and does make winning easier because you don't have to get as much done at the end. We had a good amount of, like, clear game plans and things that get you closer to winning in an introductory game, I think.
We won before we'd even got to, like, section 3 of the, invasion. So we won quite early, despite the fact the game took a while because we were teaching it. Yeah. And there were a few times when our learnees did genuinely seem like a bit frazzled by the whole situation.
It's a bit much to take in. I remember the first game of Spirit Island we played together. Yes. It being one where, like, I didn't have a cry learning that game, but, like, there were moments where it was a bit of a hard learn.
Yeah, but I think also, like, as our players got, or as our new learners got better at understanding the playing part of the game, I started giving them, like, hey, can you read the next event cards?
Yeah.
Can you do this? So that they would start to understand the game running part, because at the start, from the very start, it was like, hey, don't worry about this stuff, I will do all of that, I will make all of that happen, and then you can just work on running your character, and then we'll introduce the rest to you later. And by the end of it, they were like, yeah, we might need some refreshers, but basically that was much more manageable than we thought.
Yeah.
Although, as is often the case with Spirit Island, we got to like round 2 or 3, and things were looking very overwhelming. The island had become blighted, but we did so well fixing it up.
We had to give them a reassurance of, like, this is how this game's curve works. Is initially
unless you can really, really, like, nail down the opening few turns.
generally speaking, you will be overrun and then fight it back. Like, if you are getting overwhelmed, that's not a sign necessarily you're playing badly.
Yeah, we did play without a scenario or an enemy faction, but again, things that they can learn once they've got the base game.
Yeah.
I think we played like our first 3 games without an enemy faction or a scenario. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, just things that make life a lot easier. And also, I think the event cards are just a real shame that they're missing from the base game. But then I think about the fact that this was a game that was deemed too big initially, and that is why there is that huge same-size box expansion that released at the same time as the base game.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, clearly you stripped out some of the game, and one of the things that you probably shouldn't have stripped out was the event cards. You should have kept at least some of those in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that really, it adds just enough wonkiness to the game that it's not too predictable, and it can go well for the enemy or well for the players. But yeah, we had a good time playing Spirit Island, and I'm glad to get more of that out.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you played?
We both played a little bit of, there was a global jam demo for Dragon Drive, or Drag X Drive.
Or Drag Drive.
The Nintendo first-party multiplayer online wheelchair basketball game.
Yeah.
This is your first time playing this.
Yes, it is.
I played some of this at a preview event for the Switch 2 back in April. Mm-hmm. How did you find your bit of hands-on time with this?
It didn't help that the only time that we were available to play this, when we weren't, out or seeing friends, was 1 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Yeah, so it was not the ideal scenario for this.
Yeah, I think I played 3 matches and then was just like, I understand this, I've already pre-ordered it anyway, I'm just going to bed. It didn't help that I somehow managed to jam one of my fingernails underneath one of the Joy-Cons while I was doing fast maneuvering. So I'd sort of levered my nail in a really uncomfortable way. Not pulled it away from anything, but tugged on it enough that it was painful.
Enough that you were being more cautious about your wheelchair motions.
Yes. Also, we have a PVC tablecloth because we're both messy fuckers. And white cotton, we could never. So, yeah, it really struggled to register properly on there. I did end up playing on my legs rather. On my leggies.
I did the same. I was wearing
black leggings. Can confirm.
Yeah,
very good.
Plain black leggings. It worked great on those.
Yeah, did very well.
I've heard. Oh, sorry.
No, after you.
I've heard from people who had slightly baggier trousers that the fabric moves a bit.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as good an experience.
Oh,
you need a kind of skin tight fabric if you're going to do your legs, probably.
I was still struggling even on leggies. So very often I felt like I was overshooting turns, or I wasn't getting stuff at quite the right angle, or I was one leg was doing better, more traction than the other. So I was always arcing slightly to one side. Or maybe I was just more vigorous moving one arm than the other.
I'm more dominant on my right hand than my left, and the way I was occasionally curving a little bit in a way that would suggest I was pushing more with my right hand than my left, which would make sense for hand dominance.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a hand dominance thing or if I had managed to slightly ruck up my leggings or something, but yeah, I was finding it more difficult than I would have liked to control. I was also struggling with the understanding how to get into a menu quickly and say you want to sit out the next game or something, so that you can explore the menu, because towards the end of the tutorial it goes, you can sit in the menu and you can customize your stuff and learn how to do all the tricks. And I'd load in the thing, and I'd find the page of the menu I needed to learn how to do the tricks, and I'd start reading how to do the tricks, and then I'd jump out of the thing and try and practice the thing and see if I understood how to do the trick, like hopping up on one wheel or jumps, and couldn't quite get that in time. And then the next thing I noticed was being pulled into a match. It's oh, okay, but I wanted to learn the thing. There is a whole option in there, but I think the combination of the fact that jumping into another match is on by default.
Yeah.
The fact that it was a limited time, demo for the thing, I didn't realise it was 4 hours at the time.
Yeah.
And maybe the fact that I was already tired because it was 1 a.m. Just like, I didn't really feel like I had time to get to grips with that stuff. I did eventually customise my outfit, and we ended up with very, very similar outfits.
Yeah, we did.
But like, and I was also like struggling with actually shooting hoops. And I feel like some of that stuff would have been, if I could have worked out how to like stop myself dropping into the next match, to just spend some time sat on a court. Just throwing the ball at hoops for practice.
It could have done with, at the end of a match, having two options where it's like, do you want to jump straight back into matchmaking, or do you not want to matchmake quite yet, and you'll manually tell us when to start matchmaking you again?
Something like that. And maybe that will be the case in the full game, but I did struggle a bit with that. I did appreciate the high contrast stuff, but as you pointed out in this week's AA, the fact that once you've customised your character, that might be slightly counter to if a person on the blue team manages to like wear red, like put red all over their outfit because it's their favourite colour, it's going to be harder to tell which team they're on.
Yeah, so to clarify, the way that high contrast works in this is it is high contrast outlines per team.
Yeah.
In set colours that you can't change. The enemy team is always highlighted red, your team is always highlighted blue. But as you were saying, if you dress your character in largely red, and then are someone's teammate, you will mostly look red with a little blue outline, and they will have to, at a glance, go, that's mostly red, but I know that's blue team.
Yes.
And, like, that runs a little counter. I wish there was a way to high contrast the whole character and
either high contrast the whole character, or make the outline, like, move in towards the centre of the character more.
Yeah.
So that, like, it was a thicker outline, because it doesn't even feel like it's as thick as the Saints Row one. Yes. And it is a very similar, like, character outline highlight.
Yeah, or if you could make it, like, more opaque, a little less see-through, if you could make it a firmer
or if it
outline.
Was an edge highlight with, like, like an overlay.
Yeah,
with like semi-transparent of the correct colour.
I think there's a few ways you could do it, and all of them would be improvements on
what we saw,
what it currently has. Yeah,
and who knows? There's time to fix stuff. It's not coming up for a little while.
I mean, it'll probably be out by the time that people hear this.
Well.
But yeah, I had a slightly better experience with it, I think. Part of that down to not injuring my hand while playing it. I got really into it.
I could see.
I had a lot of fun with it. I was doing pretty well. I was winning a good percentage of matches. The thing that I think most is, the elephant in the room. This game's controls are not particularly accessible, and it really reminds me of the way that the head of the Pokemon company, Joichi Masuda, talked about forcing people to use motion controls in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee when docked, despite having a non-motion controlled handheld option.
Original Skyward Sword.
Yeah, original Skyward. Well, I bring up Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee specifically because he actively said in interviews, I chose not to let people use the non-motion controls when docked
the non-motion controls option.
I wanted people to throw the Pokeball, and I thought they might not if given an alternative. And like, this feels like that. It feels like ARMS in the Switch 1 launch lineup. It feels like we are very insistent we want you to play this in the thing that we feel very clever for having created, whether that's accessible or good for the health of the game or not.
I have never played ARMS, so I could not tell you.
Yeah. It had a unique control scheme at launch involving, like, strafing by turning to both controllers left or right at the same time, crossing them over to guard, like forward and backwards with the like it was a big joystick to walk forward and back.
Like tank controls.
Yeah, it was an interesting control scheme. But the other thing is, I really enjoyed what I played of the 3v3 regular matches. It doesn't seem like there's anything else in terms of modes, of like core game modes.
No, but it does seem like there might be more minigames, because I noticed as you could drive around the outside of the courts, you could see stuff behind a semi-transparent wall that was clearly locked off in the demo. Lots of like rotating like clocks, implying that there's like maybe like time trial modes for can you get through a slalom, or can you do the bowling thing?
To my understanding, there are very few types, it seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, the core of it is definitely doing the sport game, and I can't help but think about the fact that, like, Rocket League exists on Switch and is free to pick up and has considerably more variety of modes in it. And this is a game that feels like it's going to be competing with something like a Rocket League. And, like, as much as I personally appreciate paying, like £10, £13, I think it might be? $16. To have a game that hopefully won't have microtransactions shoved down my throat the way that, like, Rocket League does with its loot boxes. I know that for the average person, they'll just pick up the one that is free and already has, like, 15 modes in it, rather than paying for the one that has the one mode and
has a more accessible control method.
And doesn't have... Because, like, Dragon Drive doesn't have any kind of roadmap to suggest it will have more. I hope it will have more content and that they'll announce it. But right now, will that one mode be enough to keep people playing it? I don't know how long that will keep it going.
If nothing else, I would be interested to see more outfits.
Yeah,
more
agreed.
like longer matches. I think would be interesting. Bigger courts and longer matches. 5-on-5.
Yeah, maybe, like, give me, like, an option of playing courts with, like, oh, here's a court with some bumps in it that you can do tricks off to do scoring bonus points that aren't the edge ramps. Or a court that's, like, an odd shape that you've got to navigate. Like, it wouldn't take a lot to give you a little bit of variety that it, at least from the Global Jam, feels like is maybe missing from it.
I will say, I was impressed with the fact that we clearly both of us seem to have been paired up with people who either just randomly have Japanese names or are actually in Japan at the time. Because if so, there didn't seem to be any lag on their part.
So I think we were being paired with Japanese players because we were playing at 1 a.m. We were playing at 1 a.m., which is peak time for, like, the Japanese time zone. And yeah, there were no issues with, like, passing back and forth the ball with Japanese players. The net code for playing online seemed pretty solid.
Yeah. Very steady.
I really enjoy the core control scheme. It feels pretty intuitive.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would need more time and more awakeness to work out, like, what is my ideal setup for that. But, I can see myself playing a decent amount of this. My only worry, as you mentioned in this week's AA, is I feel like some of this desire to play it is going to be lost by the fact that I can't second screen it.
Yes.
I can't just hold it in my hands and just play for a bit. Like, for fun.
I will probably use this as, like, a game that I play on Twitch streams when I don't know what else I want to be playing.
Yeah.
But, like, those 3-minute matches, the, like, very quick pace of it all feels designed for get in a quick game. And that doesn't gel with how I play stuff on the TV. That's the kind of thing I want to be playing on a handheld.
Yeah.
And not being able to go, yeah, I know it's not the control scheme, but, like, let me do my analog sticks as if they were me pushing the mice and do it in handheld.
Yeah.
Just let me do that. So I can get a couple of matches in while watching Doctor Who or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if the matches were longer, I would feel more inclined towards it. I don't know how long, like, a game of FIFA is. But, like, again, it's a sports game. I know it's obviously not a full 90 minutes.
I believe it's 15 minutes for a full FIFA game.
I feel like maybe something like that might be more encouraging to play it on the TV.
Like, if I think on the scale of things, if I was sitting down to play, say, Rocket League, which is another, like, 2 or 3 minute match game, I would rather do that on a handheld second screen. If I think about something like Fortnite, that's like a 10 to 20 minute game, I'd sit down on the TV for that. There's something about game length and expectations about where you want to be playing experiences of certain lengths. And, like, a 3-minute thing, I kind of want to just crack a couple of quick games out on handheld.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. The other thing is, like, what do you do if you want to play 2-player sharing a couch?
Yeah.
Like, again, and it feels like a real staple of sports games that you get, like, people round and you all play together.
Yeah, like,
And-
I guess for our setup, it would have to be one person on the TV, one person tabletop mode on
Something
on
like
our
that.
table.
Yeah.
And we're playing together, and then we swap over every now and then who's on the TV.
Or I
and
could play on my monitor, I guess.
Yeah, like, there are ways we could do it, but again,
A faff.
yeah, it's slightly more of a faff than it feels like it should be to sit and play a multiplayer game together.
Exactly.
But yeah, you been playing anything else this week?
Yes, I've been playing some Metroid Prime Remastered.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time I played Metroid Prime Remastered. I had Metroid Prime Fusion, the second one, I think.
Metroid Prime 2... Was it Fusion? Yeah, the one with the spooky, the evil Samus running around.
I had that on Wii.
Echoes.
Metroid
Prime 2 Echoes.
Okay, I had Echoes. Yes, I had Echoes on Wii. And I feel like they maybe polished some of it a bit more. Because I very often find myself getting lost in Metroid Prime, and it tries to help you out by going, look, you clearly haven't found the direction. We're going to give you a little announcement to be like, hey, there's some activity here, you should probably go and look at it. That kind of tries to point you in the right direction. But if you cannot work out how to get through a room, and by virtue of it being the kind of game where there could be something that you're locked out of and you're supposed to come back to later, there's certain things you get to recognise, you get to recognise that you can't do the half pipes until you've got the charge ball. You can't do the, stripy lines on the walls until you've got the spider ball.
Yeah.
Things like that you start to recognise. But if there's just a room you go in and it's just I can see that there's a door somewhere in here, but I can't work out how to get to it. This enemy says it needs, very high heat to deal with. Do I have the right weapon? Is my weapon hot enough to deal damage to this? Because that isn't clear from having scanned the enemy and worked it out. I know how to attack it, but it's not necessarily appearing very obvious that I'm doing the right damage. And if I can't defeat this enemy, I can't get through this room, and if I can't get through this room, maybe I've come the wrong way and I'll try somewhere else.
It lacks some of the quality of life stuff that has become more common later in the Metroid series. If you look at something like Metroid Dread from a couple of years ago, that did a much better job of every time you enter a room, marking that room with icons to go, do you know what this icon is? If not, you're not ready for whatever this is.
Yeah.
With the original Metroid Prime, I feel no shame in occasionally just Googling and going,
oh yeah.
Yeah, can I do this? Okay, yes? No? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, there's been a few times when I've just gone, oh, I spent ages in that room and couldn't work out where the fuck I was going. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough yellow paint. This game lacks yellow paint.
I will do my best to not need it, and then we'll occasionally go, okay, just
fucking done.
Be the equivalent of yellow paint. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just little hints sometimes. Or even, knowing that a specific enemy can be defeated.
Yeah.
Can make a difference.
Yeah, just knowing you do have the correct tools is enough to go, I'll get back to trial and erroring.
I mean, and I think that's borne out by the fact that the bosses I've just gone, I'll work it out. Because if I'm in here, I must have everything I need to do this.
They wouldn't lock me in a room I can't do something in.
I would think. But, I've got through all the bosses fine on my own, even the mini-bosses. Some of them are very self-evident, but, some of the individual rooms are just there's not enough here for me to immediately work out on my own, and I feel like Echoes did a better job, as far as I remember. It's been a while, but I do remember having a really good time with that, which is why I picked this one up.
Yeah.
But, hopefully I'll get get through this in time for 4. And then maybe they'll release 3 at some point. Come on, give us 2 and 3.
Do it.
Come
do
on.
it before 4 comes out.
Right.
I want to replay them.
I don't even care if they're remastered, I just want to play 2 and 3 again.
Right.
But yeah, also I feel like I'm missing the Wiimote.
Yeah, the Wiimote aiming was so nice.
Aiming, I feel like that could be done with a Joy-Con.
Oh, I agree.
But I haven't looked through the menu to see if that's an option to turn on. But just hang on, why don't I have manual aiming? I've got I've got fancy controllers and everything.
I will say, it is nice having the option to do dual analog control that was not the case in the original release.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, the original release, you were aiming while turning your camera all with the one left stick. The left stick sort of
aiming was the pointer.
Oh no, I mean on the GameCube original of Metroid Prime.
Metroid Prime was a GameCube? I thought it was a Wii game.
The original Metroid Prime was on GameCube.
Oh, is that why I've only played Echoes on the Wii?
So on the Wii they did remastered, motion controlled 1, 2, and 3 re-releases, and they did like a trilogy box set.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, you just jumped in with 2.
No, my local Blockbusters was when they were going out of business, was sold tons of unboxed games. So I picked up like just a staggering amount of PS2 games, and I think Metroid Prime Echoes was the only one that from the Wii section that was like, that is something I would try.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of them were shitty football games that I just did not get.
Well, yes, the original Metroid Prime had turning and looking both mapped onto the left analog stick of the GameCube controller,
but it has the C stick.
Right? You'd have thought they'd have dual analogued it like a first-person shooter. They did not treat it like a first-person shooter.
Yeah. But yeah, that's that. Have you played anything else?
That's about it for stuff I can talk about this week.
Ooh, secrets. Well then.
Time for this.
I've created an actual artificial intelligence, and it's the size of a football, powered by a small sodium battery that's good for 23.7 years. It's absolutely revolutionary. It's quite going to replace the current system of large language models and Gen AI.
Nah, sorry.
What do you mean, nah, sorry?
Ask ChatGPT and it says it's not real.
But it is real. I've just invented it. And there's no way ChatGPT would know anyway, because I've only just invented it, and it hasn't been trained on that data, you see.
Nah, ChatGPT says that's not a thing. No one's made that.
People haven't got the brains we were born with anymore, thanks to large language models. Hey, Laura.
Yes?
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, it's as hot as a hot thing out there.
It is as hot as a hot thing out there.
I would say it's hot enough to boil a badger. Not that you should boil a badger.
No, I don't want to see the badger get boiled, but...
What about a dog? A hot dog, perhaps?
Oh, a hot dog. Not a dog that is hot, but a hot dog, yes.
A hot
we
dog.
can boil that.
Yes, don't leave dog in hot car, but what if you had a grill set up in the back of your car
to have a
grill
hot dog?
dogs?
Yeah, to have a hot dog in a car.
Yeah. This is the carbackgrill.lol.net. Save on your energy bill by placing the grill in the back window of your car this summer and cook dinner in about 40 minutes.
I mean, that's maybe a little slower than it would have been in the kitchen, but, like, I can't disagree with the savings.
Free hot dog.
Free hot
for your hot dog.
Free hot for my hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm putting the emphasis in the wrong place there. Hot dog. Not hot dog.
Free hot for your hot dog. Not for your no dogs in the dogging of this
Free heat for the sausage.
Anyway, I wouldn't leave a dog in with my hot dogs because the dog would eat the hot dog.
Yes, it would.
Also, it would be too hot in the car, and
Yeah.
that's a big no-no. So, what have you put in your eyes and ears?
Well, just before recording, we watched the season finale of Game Changer. On Dropout, the game show where the game show is a different game show every game show.
Every game show.
This one, the season finale, was a presidential debate to be the honorary president of Dropout.
Yes.
With a live audience and quite some impressive, like, audience metric tracking.
Yes. How neurospicy
functionality.
is this person?
Yeah. Every now and then they would get the audience to vote on right now who are you're voting towards. But also be like, who is popular with straight people versus who's popular with gay people?
Who's popular with the neurospices? Who's popular with people who would steal hotel toiletries?
Yeah, it's you got some interesting demographic breakdowns. I very much enjoyed the lobbying portion. Was quite fun.
Yes.
If a bit
tobacco
chaotic.
in there.
Oh, everyone's courting big tobacco.
Mr. Moneybags.
It was a very just all round nice game changer to finish the season on.
It was, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's either the highs or the more inconsistent ones of this season. It's just
Very pleasant.
I don't think I think it would be hard to have any complaints about this as a season finale. It was a very pleasant season finale.
Oh, yes.
And I think it was the right season finale to have after 2 very experimental episodes running up to it. It felt like a more surefire hit of a game changer.
Yes.
But what about you? What have you been putting in your eyes this week?
I went to a mystery movie screening.
You did, and you got to see a film I'm very jealous you saw.
I got to see Together, which I believe isn't out for another week.
Yeah, it's not out for another week, and then I won't be able to see it till like a week after, despite it sounding very good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect from it, apart from body horror, which was very obvious from the trailer.
The trailers were very, here's a romance, but the 2 people's bodies are melding.
They are sort of fusing together in a very Cronenberg manner.
Yeah.
And it certainly does very much become that. But but before that, it's just very eerie. Like, there's a scene in the trailer where, like, the girlfriend is, like, hovering down the hallway, and she's, like, stuck against a glass door while he's, like, sat on the internet. It's like he stayed up late, and she's clearly gone to bed early, but like she's just been drawn, and she's sort of hovering behind this glass window.
There's imagery of what appears to be them hanging out in a big mouth looking at a cult or something. There's some weird, creepy stuff going on.
There's there's some very interesting imagery and stuff in this. I mean, like, from the start, I was worried that it wasn't going to work. Because it seemed like the whole thing was, like, their relationship hadn't necessarily super worked while they were in the city, but they were very much into this move to a more rural area,
Yeah.
and they were very much into each other now that they had, like, more time to be together with less distractions. Whereas it feels like he hasn't even gone to the countryside yet before he's, like, joining a band to go and be, like, a guitarist and planning to go on tour. And, like, he's already not going to be spending time there with her. And, like, everyone's always talking about how boring she is.
Yeah.
Even her at times.
It is a very specific dynamic of relation. It sounds like this very specific relationship dynamic that exists, which is the one person who is like, I'm interested in you because you're doing all these creative things and, like, I want to be sort of in the orbit of that. And person who is creative and really appreciates the stability of their boring partner.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't even seem to appreciate it that much.
No, but it's it's a safety net, the sort of codependency that can create that seems like it's maybe analogous to some themes of melding together.
Yes, and then they go and they're out for a lovely walk during their first couple of days living in the countryside, and they fall down a hole on a hiking trail and enter what I will best describe as the Geiger's anus pit. Where they drink the from the pool of Geiger's anus water, and before you know it, they wake up with their legs stuck together, just a little bit, not much. And I think the thing that gets me about this film is, like, I have had times when I've had very dry lips, and I have kissed someone, and our lips have got a little bit stuck together,
just a little
bit stuck together. So, it did do something in my psychology of, like, they're kissing, and they're stuck together. They are starting to, like, get slightly adhered together.
Making this feel just like that little bit plausible that's gonna make the things that follow feel a little too plausible in your head. Yes. And start making everything feel a bit too real.
Yes.
As it escalates.
Yes.
Oh, I love that shit in horror. Hook onto a thing that feels real so that I feel like everything else feels like it could be.
Yes. I really struggle to like him at all, and it feels like he's supposed to be the main character. She, I feel like, deserves better. So much better. And I spent a lot of the film going, why are you together? This doesn't make sense. But then, like, the power of togetherness really came for them. And the ending is just fucking wild. The film is sweeter than I expected. Way more, like, sweet by the end than I expected, and it made me want to watch more Cronenberg movies.
Oh,
Because, it's a wild film.
I am very excited for this film. I was so debating
So I get the one seat left.
skipping my Twitch stream to come join you, and it was like, I wouldn't have been able to sit with you. I'd have had to sit in the front row, which I like the front row, but in the very corner of the front row, and that's like, up and to the side. No, that's not going to be a fun viewing experience.
And it was one of the larger screens,
and it was a mystery screening, so it was like,
this might not even be the film.
Skip stream, and it's like a film I'm much less interested in.
Yes.
And I was like, I know as soon as because you really wanted it to be together, and I was like, if I don't go, the universe will make it be together.
It's interesting, because, I didn't know anything. I was just like, I'll try a mystery screening. I have a free unlimited cinema ticket.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? And then you were like, oh, there's a Reddit group for that. Everyone seems to think it's together. I was like, oh, well, in that case, I'm very excited. Or it's weapons. Oh, I'm less excited about weapons.
It seemed, sometimes I'll go in blind, but I was like, I'm curious whether I should skip stream for this. And it was a toss-up between film I really want to see and film I'm really not that fussed about.
Yeah.
And
I'm quite interested to see weapons, because from what I hear, it's really divided the audience.
It's either 10 out of 10, the best film of the year, or 0 out of 10, an absolute travesty. And that has put me back on track of wanting to see it.
It's not War of the Worlds on Amazon Prime, but
a
film I have not seen and have no interest in seeing because I care too much about the source material.
I've queued it up to be a watch it while drunk with some friends in the future film. It feels like a good candidate.
Yeah.
I won't subject you to it, don't worry. You got to see together.
I did. Have you seen anything else?
What have I put in my eyes? I have been reading stuff. We're back to Bridge Command.
Back to Bridge Command. There's no escape.
There's no escape.
Bridge Command show.
Yeah, so I've been creating my own document that I'm now reading, which is, for Bridge Command, there have at times in the past been, one-off events that have happened where plot has developed.
Yeah.
And there are also, people who have collated information of, trying to transcribe the dialogue in the transporter, which, we're both autistic, can be kind of a bit hard to listen to above the whirring.
There's also, stuff on their Instagram. They do, press releases from the war.
Yeah, information that's in, the law screens if you have a chance to dig through them before a session. The stuff that's on the TV reports in the mess hall.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was having one of those, I'm gearing up for that campaign coming up and being like,
I'm going to put all of this information into one document.
Yeah, I want to know more of the, I'm not looking for, spoilers for missions that are currently available that I could go on and haven't played yet. I'm not looking to have that stuff spoiled for me. But stuff that is, public knowledge in the community, I would like to know.
Yeah.
And I've been talking with a couple of people who've been sending me, their personal logs of I was at such and such event. Here is my perspective in character of what happened. Nice. I didn't get to see all of it. There are times where groups got split off to go do different things.
Yeah.
So even with this, I don't have a full view of certain events, but I'm starting to get a picture of certain events that are key events in the story so far of Bridge Command.
Yeah.
Put them together. Someone made a captain's log audio recording for one of them. I'm currently doing the equivalent of a fan wiki deep dive on stuff. I'm doing the autistic. I need to read all the wiki pages.
I need all the information.
So the main things I've read about so far have been the Pirate Council that recently formed, and this was a couple of weeks before we started playing Bridge Command. This is very recent developments, and you've read through most of this.
I'm most of the way through that now.
You're on the epilogue of it.
I've just literally got to the epilogue.
Yeah, the short version being there is a bunch of pirate factions that kind of have a loose sort of
less of a code, more than
a loose understanding of we come to a neutral meeting place and we have space to discuss whose territory is where, what are things that you shouldn't do to piss each other off, and our sort of main character class, the UCN, the United Confederation Navy, the Space Navy, got invited to potentially vie for a seat on this council, which, like, some factions aren't going to be super happy about the idea of the UCN being, quote-unquote, on the Pirate Council, but strategically it might be useful for, like, opening up a dialogue with these dangerous factions to be like, we at least have an ability to try and negotiate, where not having a seat on that council would mean that, like, we are basically giving up the opportunity to try and negotiate and to try and open a dialogue. And it was a sort of log of the competition to try and get this seat on the council and the politics going on around that.
Yeah.
The other one that I just finished reading through was about, and this was, I think, the very first special event, and it might have been as far back as last year, 2024, at some point, is the signing of the second treaty of the Adamas Belt, which is the first time that most of the big good guy factions met in one place to, like, try and get on good terms. Because, like, the video shown before a lot of these missions
We're not allowed
is, like...
to talk about that. We're not allowed to share any of that
confidential,
outside.
confidential. Okay. The general idea of Bridge Command is that there is this place called the Adamas Belt that, like, there's lots of different human factions.
There's a special mineral that makes space travel possible.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's there.
And there's a lot of human factions there of varying types. We've encountered some of them, like, we've encountered the ICM, the mining company. The IMC, sorry. The mining company. We've, I believe, met the Terra Novans briefly. And this was trying to help all of them out and find out what they wanted and what their hang-ups were about working together. And eventually, like, signing something so that there was, like, a degree of mutual understanding amongst these factions.
Yeah.
And reading through that has been a great insight into, like, oh, these factions we've been meeting, like, what is their broader culture like outside of the tiny snapshot of them we're seeing in missions.
And also kind of what to expect from them.
Yeah.
Like, we probably could have worked out that the Grey Hat faction were hackers.
Yeah.
But until we were getting absolutely rinsed by being hacked constantly, it didn't really twig properly in my brain.
It's this background amount of information that's like, next time... Yeah, if we'd read this before going into that mission, we'd have been like, oh, we're being hacked. Oh, this is probably the Grey Hats. We know that there is a hacker faction. Like, that little bit of, like, background understanding of the universe in which we're existing.
Yeah, and I realised, like, they want to keep a lot of this, like, fairly under wraps for the sake of not spoiling the plot for people.
Yeah.
But I feel like it actually makes me more interested to know at least, like, who the players are to a degree, and just, like, a brief synopsis of, like, and what they're about.
Particularly for things where it's like, if you were at this event, you would know these things, but that event's not being rerun.
Yeah.
That stuff where I don't like the idea of, like, there are players who have more of an understanding of the context than I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd like to get up to... Because, like, the way I was having a conversation in the Discord for Bridge Command about this, being like, is there, like, a wiki or anything? And they're like, no, we're not really into the idea of having a wiki. You should be organically learning this stuff by having conversations. I'm like, my point would be, you don't know what you don't know. Yes. Like, I don't know what to ask to learn this stuff without...
I have unconscious incompetence.
Yeah, without, like, knowing a list of what the factions are. I don't know what factions to ask, like, for information about. And to be, if I were in this Space Navy, I feel like I'd be able to just, on a Space Navy datapad, go, oh, I should probably read up on, like, who do we work with and who do we work against? Like, what's the basics I should know about who we might encounter?
For people who didn't turn up early enough to watch, like, the whole TV stuff, like the news report that it plays on
or struggles to hear it over people talking because autism.
Yeah. Or just fails to have all of it sink in.
Yeah. So the people I've spoken to have all kind of been in agreement of, like, the two things that they would suggest are non-spoilery and good information to read about are the Pirate Council and the Second Treaty of the Adamas Belt, because they are basically learn about the enemy learn a bit, like, the basic stuff about the enemy factions, learn the basics about the allied factions, and I've been really enjoying specifically reading personal perspective in-character accounts of these things.
Yeah.
I'm such a sucker for people writing in-character reports about their LARP.
Yes.
It has made me really eager to write in-character logs of the missions we've been on so far, because I've got my notes in there.
Well, it's like when we were playing Betrayal Legacy, and we technically still are.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing I have said at the end of every session is, whoever the surviving player is, or players are, someone needs to sit down and write in the character of the person they played this session what happens from their point of view.
Yeah, and I've been making notes about all the sessions we've been doing, but reading these in-characters really made me go, I'd like to write up my in-character perspective of those first 4 missions, and maybe just record them on Audacity or whatever, and have a little captain's log, or a little sub-lieutenant's log. And I've mainly been craving this info because I'm about to go on this 5-mission campaign, and I'm real ready. I want to jump in well equipped to be good on the squad. But it's made me kind of passionate to make my own fan content about even if I'm not going to post it anywhere online because I don't want to spoil the missions for people who haven't been on them. It's a nice little bit of fan creativity for me to have as a nice look back on it a few years from now and go, those were really cool missions we went on.
We had a good time back then. Back when we were still just mere sub-lieutenants and ensigns. Before
we became lieutenant commanders or whatever, right?
I think it's going to be a while before we hit lieutenant commander.
We'll see, yeah. You never know. We might just have we might absolutely blow it out the water on those campaigns.
You might get another medal.
Ooh! To go next to my 1 medal I currently have. Yeah! What about you? What have you put in your eyes this week?
I also watched Freakier Friday, which is a film that I have seen.
You've never seen Freaky Friday, and you watched its sequel.
And I don't know anything about Lindsay Lohan. So, I've seen this film. It was quite sweet in places, especially towards the end. I wasn't wowed by it, and I'm not sure who this film's for. Because it feels like it's trying to do callbacks to the original, and it feels like it's trying to be modern and current, but I don't know if Gen Z talk like that or not.
We were talking about this after you saw it, and it feels like it is specifically for an age of millennial parent and their very specifically Gen Z child, and both of them are going to kind of go, is this what the other half of us is into?
Yeah.
Both of them kind of thinking it will be a film for the other.
Maybe.
Oh,
that's my assumption as an older man.
It's a weird one.
It's fine. I didn't pay to see it, so it doesn't matter.
It wasn't a bad time. It was a fine time.
It's alright.
Yeah.
They seem to be having fun. Cool. Have you watched anything else?
That's been most of it for me. What about you?
What's it for me?
Well then, time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, the weather outside
It's frightful.
I find it frightful.
Yeah.
Because it is so delightful. And people have a place to go. Outside they go. People aren't playing video games because there's sun out.
Fools.
What
they need is more handhelds.
We have, spent a years-long campaign trying to be like, shut the curtains, play video games inside.
We even gave them tiny mini fridges that are not powerful enough to cool a beverage below the temperature of the outside because the outside is too hot.
Exactly. And it's so hot that the gaming handhelds are throwing up errors going like, please don't play me, it's too hot.
Yeah.
So we gotta find a way to get in on the not playing a video game market.
Right.
And I came up with an idea that I think is brilliant.
Hit me, but don't.
No. I hit you with an idea.
Yeah.
We sell glasses.
Right.
No prescription in them, just glass.
No.
With little stickers of video game UI elements.
Right, yeah.
So, people can walk around outside.
With their health bar or their ammo count.
Exactly, feeling like they're playing, Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, I mean, that seems perfectly sensible. We'll have people wandering around thinking that they're in a Call of Duty game.
Yeah, thinking that there are no consequences
No,
to...
they'll have their ammo count and their grenades.
Yeah, and, targeting indicators.
Yeah, they'll have, like, a center screen dot or something.
Okay, sorry, legal have just come in.
Uh-huh.
We will have to sell them with a warning that we are not responsible for anything they do while pretending to be in Call of Duty. I can't see why that's necessary, but
No, I mean, I have, I would try these out, and I am fairly certain that this wouldn't feed into anything for me, is what I'm saying.
I mean, you are so strong-willed
Yeah.
that I can't imagine any world in which you would look through the world and see people as victims to slay down.
To exploit, yeah. I mean, that would... Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's different.
I don't get
yeah.
like an overlay saying how much I can extract from them. That would be more of a that would be what I would expect, honestly.
Yeah,
that is what I see usually, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
but
yeah.
no ammo count.
No.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
We would like to make America okayish again.
I thought that was a right-wing slogan.
Hey, we never said great.
Okay, when was America okay-ish?
Honestly, even a couple of years ago would be an improvement at this point. Any time before the outright fascism that we currently have, before all of the Doge stuff, I feel like that would probably be a start, and then we could just work from there.
Mildly less shit.
Mildly less shit. Mildly less shit. Mildly less shit. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors?
Yeah. Alright, Larry.
Right, Barry. How you doing?
Oh, mate, I need a cold bath and something cold to drink and a fan constantly running, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's a fucking scorcher at the moment. Bloody scorcher.
Yeah, quite the heat wave.
Yeah, I've
crashing over us again.
I've been. It's been a very unforgiving heat. There's been no breeze or anything to take the edge off or anything.
It's been becalmed.
But that being said, in some ways, maybe it's better for me health wise that it's not a heat with a breeze because I know I'm a sucker for this. Is forgetting that how dangerous heat with a breeze can be.
Well, yeah, I mean you're from the coast, innit? So I guess you're used to. When a hot day is happening, more people going out, but also that wind sure does come off the ocean.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, you think, I'm actually quite cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need sunscreen.
Is a real sucker for sunburn and heat stroke and dehydration.
Oh, yes.
They sneak up on you, because again, it only takes like the tiniest little bit of breeze for your body to go, oh, maybe.
Oh, this is fine.
Yeah, some of the heat got blown briefly off of the outside layer of my skin. Therefore, my internal core temperature must have dropped. I must be fine.
I understand that, which is why I have taken to suns out, occasional pat down.
Yeah.
You may or may not have seen this. Like occasionally, like every half hour or so, I'll give myself a little pat over. And I can tell, what my skin is actually feeling like, as opposed to what my skin is feeling like.
Yeah, well, if I touch my arm and go, actually, that feels like I'm being cooked in an oven. That my skin is probably hotter than it thinks it is.
Yeah, sniff me forearm. If it smells like I am, slowly roasting bacon, that's probably not a good sign.
Exactly. And I know it seems like a really obvious thing to say, but given the way that global temperatures are trending right now, direction-wise, and how heat waves are becoming more common and more persistent.
True, yeah.
It feels like good to remind yourself, like, hey, just because there's a little bit of a breeze doesn't mean you shouldn't be going outside of that breeze. It's a 30-degree day. Be bloody careful.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You've got to be real careful, and It's as people have said, it's a shame that the people who are experiencing the most calm version of this is the global north, who generally caused a lot of these issues.
Indeed,
we've got the global north, which is likely to become warmer, which I'm sure a lot of these temperate to coldish countries will probably feel like a bit of a holiday without having to go anywhere. And you will also find that the wet will be a lot more vicious.
Yeah.
So, things to watch out for. We're already seeing roofs regularly blowing off during the winter, and summer's getting hotter and hotter. So, give a thought for the people who are much more globally south and finding things dangerous.
Yeah.
Physically dangerous in so many ways.
Yeah,
but,
Yes, take care of yourselves in the heat. Plenty of water, and remember sunscreen, even if you're going out for just a little bit.
Exactly.
Fancy young mate?
Oh, just a little one.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit
yeah, I
unsticky.
know what you mean. Oh, God, yeah, you are sticky, mate.
Just a little. I can't
Yeah.
pass that pretty good, actually.
Well, yeah, tell you what, maybe a nice cold shower after this, mate.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I think that'll do. Yeah. Well, good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
So, Laura,
Yes.
where do thing you find?
Where do
find thing you do?
Where do find thing I do? Laura K Buzz find thing what do?
Yeah.
LauraKBuzzStore.com. You can get things I learned from Mario's butt, a bundle that includes the audiobook, the ebook, and a bunch of art prints in high quality. Go check that all out. You can get like a bundle with all of that together on LauraKBuzzStore.com. Other than that, I've got an AA episode that'll be up by now about Dragon Drive. There's an episode of Control Alt Access going up this week. You should be listening to Dice Funk, the most current season of Dice Funk. Get up to date on that.
I am.
I'm really proud of how the last couple of episodes have turned out. The one that went up this past week, I haven't made time to listen back to a lot of episodes this season. This one I was like, I want to hear how this one turned out in the edit, and a little bit of sad music underpinning some scenes really helped sell my performances.
Very sweet moment with you and your sister.
Yeah, and I'm sorry how things are going, Rex. But yeah, check out the things I'm doing. What about you? Where are you on the internet?
Patreon.com/StoneMonkeyRadio. That helps these episodes get edited and this show keep happening. Yeah. Thank you very much to all the people who already support me. Laura,
Yes?
will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.